So the CIA funded this meditation in the 80s in a huge study of consciousness, trying to figure out why we are sentient, basically, why we have thoughts, why there seems to be some interconnectedness between people. They paid the Monroe Institute to do all of this research, and they came out with the Gateway Experience. Pretty groundbreaking stuff, and if you don't want to pay these guys $1,200, I will teach you how to do it for free. So straight off of Google, it is binaural beats, basically. It'll play one sound in one ear, one sound in the other ear, and your brain will hear a third sound. It sounds like a low beep, a high beep, but when you hear them both together, it goes wow, wow. It sounds crazy. It sounds cool, and it feels weird. It's called binaural beats, and it's basically just sound waves messing with your brain. It's as simple as that. Now, the CIA went crazy. This meditation makes you leave your body and talk to beings. Happens to everybody. It's not just a few people do it and have these crazy experiences. This happens to everybody. And everyone sees this. It's called the torus, and it's basically how the universe works. Click the comment and watch the last video because it ties in very heavily to this. And you should know what you're getting into because it's not for everybody, and it can be a little intense. Not in any bad way, but you know, if you don't want to get slapped in the face with how knowledge and life works, and don't do it. But if you want to learn, this is a great way to open your mind. And the reason I say you should be kind of careful is because it really does open up new ways to thinking, and it's not always voluntary is the best way I could word it. You'll see this a lot doing this meditation. People also eat magic mushrooms and see that too. And the really interesting part about this is why are they both seeing it? This shape explains the universe. I'll also go over that in that video. And this was the most guarded knowledge that our indigenous populations had. I mean, you had to study for years to have a chance to learn what this shape means. It's odd, and you see it in every culture across the world. And why is this so connected with Gateway? It's a good question, and you should see for yourself, but I will keep going. And for those of you guys saying this was debunked in the 80s, well, you're right and you're wrong. They did say it didn't work in the 80s, but we just had Project Kona files drop. They're as old as 2011, and they spend a lot of money on this still, and they're now researching it in terms of controlling spaceships. Now, with this being from 2011 and having a huge study on consciousness as well as UFOs, the really important part to know is this didn't actually go through because senators wanted too much information about it, so they moved it to a top secret file. That's why we got the drop for Project Kona Blue. Now, in looking at this, it's a lot about UFOs, but you'll see something here, Consciousness Center. Expand on remote viewing and remote communications to retrieve data and transport across dimensional space-time barrier. I don't know about all that, but what I do know is they're working on remote viewing countermeasures and studying consciousness interactions with technology. So this is getting a little weird. Now, again, where does this tie in? Well, probably how they control these spaceships we keep coming across. It says right here it had no intake, exhaust, wings, control surfaces, which means no buttons to push to turn it on or to fly it or turn it. No engine, fuel tanks, or fuel. It says right here, this is from a news station in Nevada. In other words, the US has a flying saucer. I could read all of this off of the documents, but most of you guys don't trust the CIA. I do not blame you, so I wanted to give as many sources as possible. So, in short, this meditation does something weird with your brain. It seems to be connected to experiences other people have, even experiences people have by eating fun mushrooms in the forest. It also seems to be how these flying saucers, however you want to word that, are controlled. That being said, there's probably something to it. And on top of that, having a heavy relation to our indigenous populations and their obsession with the shape, which we later found explains the universe in a pretty whole way. Also, side note, if you didn't know, this whole program is mostly what they base the show Stranger Things off of. This document talks about how your brain could be thought of like a radio antenna. I mean, that's more my words than it, but it's a good way to explain it. So you're having thoughts inside here, they're going to leave. And the basis of this thinking is if you think someone's an asshole and you see them, they're probably going to act funny because they get a weird feeling. Think about when you look at someone and they snap and look right at you. It's like, how did they know I was looking? It's really awkward and uncomfortable. Their thinking in these documents is that those brain waves exit your head and people pick up on it. It's consciousness. Now, you think that's interesting. Wait till you hear about the platypus, because this ties in too, and this is really fucking weird, actually. But fish know when there's things around them through electromagnetic impulses. They can feel your presence, but they don't know if you're a friend or a foe, if you're a shark or another fish. They can't tell, they just know there's something there. The platypus goes underwater and its eyes and ears completely shut down. It becomes blind and deaf. However, it has receptors in its beak that are able to tell what food is, what its friends are. It's like being a fish, but with an extra layer of knowing. I mean, it goes underwater and it knows its friend from its food. Our best theory is that this is picking up on those waves that we're kicking off, but it can read them in a much more advanced way than something like a fish could. So if you stuck around with me for 5 minutes, thank you. And all you need to do the gateway process is a cheap pair of headphones like this. Make sure that they're not noise canceling. Don't use AirPods. I wouldn't even use something wireless because I can't tell you if that works, but I've had great experiences with a cheap ass pair of wired headphones. I literally bought mine from the gas station for $8. They were great. My buddy tried with AirPods, it didn't work. He bought a cheap pair and he had results the same night. And if you are looking to actually find the tapes as well without paying for them, Google Gateway Process Tapes, Reddit, YouTube, Spotify. Look wherever you have to and you will find them. I would just use the subreddit. People will send you the tapes for free. I listened to them on YouTube. I had no problems. I have them on cassette as well, and they're exactly the same. There's no differences with these audio versions versus what you'll get at the Monroe Institute. The only thing you're losing out on is a guiding hand. That being said, if you can afford to do the gateway process at this institute, I would. They're great people and they deserve the money for this, but overall, if you can't afford it and it's something that really could change your life, find it on the internet, spread the word about it, and maybe someone else will make them some money for you. But I love you guys all. Thank you.